All right. Thank you. I think it's Tiki Man Dude. Thank you, Tiki Man Dude. Um, hey, Libby Jane. Thank you, Libby Jane, for that. Uh, I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's younger people, or uh, it's investors for the two bedroom, one bath. Um, a lot of the two bedroom, one baths are or were, um, you know, rentals. I mean, that's why a lot of them are in the shape they're in is because they they were rentals and they weren't the best rentals. We'll put it that way. Let's see. I made a note here. 77 East Pool Road. I don't know if that one's even still on the market. Let's see. Yeah, that's true. Every house does have a story. Some of them are bad and some of them are good and some are confusing. Why is it showing me? Oh, I thought I was in Joplin. I guess I did not go back to Joplin. There we go. Let's go back to Joplin. It wasn't. I thought it was Joplin. Okay, so we looked at that one. We looked at that one. We looked at that one and that one. I think we looked at this one. We were looking at foreclosure, and I think it was. Well, this doesn't look familiar. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Cat Mom. Um, I figured we'd stick with Joplin. There seems to be more there. Um, but I mean, if anybody has any suggestions, I wrote down Cumberland, Maryland, and Cedar Lake, Indiana. I think Tom was talking about Cedar Lake, and I say it was like Catherine, something like that. The interior designer from the UK mentioned Cumberland, Maryland, but I figure we start with Joplin. Um, some interesting stuff there. Um, let's see, Chelsea. Chelsea, thank you, Tom. Yes, Chelsea um, from that lives over in the UK. Uh, let's see, and then if Tiki, if you have a place out in California you want to look at, that would work too. Um, so texture can generally be sanded down. Um, it's pretty common around here, especially in the you know less expensive houses, for there to be some type of um, texture. Uh, but I mean, you can sand it down. Figures. I knew my wife was going to get home while I was doing this. I just wasn't sure exactly when. So you hear all the barking. That's the dogs. Um, yeah, I know it's less common in other places. Really? Welcome, Bingo. Um, Well, they haven't been to the Midwest in general, but especially uh, places in Missouri, because there's definitely houses for under 250,000. I mean, heck, you can go to Detroit and there's houses you can. Granted, they need a lot of work, but there's houses you can get for $1,000. You may not want the house. Let's see. Got a nice full roof. Yeah, that's Bear. He's the youngest, so he goes in his crate when he comes inside and is unsupervised. We're waiting for him to hit that 2 year mark so he'll turn into, a lay around and look at you dog instead of trying to chew everything up. Let's see. That is true. I'm sure some people would say the same thing about Springfield. Like, oh, well, it's a cheap house, but you have to live in Springfield. Or you have to live in the Midwest. Let me see here. Muted it for a second so you didn't have to hear me yell at George to calm down. Is that what is that? Is that a fridge? I still haven't gotten down to Joplin. There's a little bit of a complication because some of the houses are listed under the MLS that I have access to, and some of them are not. Uh, just a second. Are you on? Oh, I've just popped her head in and asked me a question. I forgot I'm on the live stream here. All right, let's see. Jeez. They get very excited when she comes home. Let's. Tiki asked, how long have you been a realtor, and what got you into it? Um, so I've been a realtor since uh it's either September or October. I think it's October, beginning October 2023. Um, oh, um, thank you, PBR. Um, I'm not sure what that is, Shamix. That kind of looks like cedar, though. Yeah. Um, anyway, Tiki. So I've always kind of felt comfortable in real estate. Um, my dad was a plumber electrician, and I literally grew up, um, at least part time, in these uh, new builds that he was plumbing. He did mostly plumbing, a little bit electric, but mostly plumbing. And so he'd be plumbing them, and I would go, help him out. I always use air quotes, saying I helped him because, as a kid, I didn't help much, but I go help him out, and so I don't know. It's just I got used to the um, seeing houses where you can, like you can see the studs and all that kind of stuff. Um, and always wanted to get into real estate, and then in 2020, um, read my first real estate book and got into real estate investing. And then, hey Wayne, um, in 23 decided, I might as well just get my license because I just like looking at real estate. I like talking to people about real estate. Um, and so I did that in 23, and then I was still working full time at the time. Um, and then I was trying to kind of get things built up, and was it's hard to do real estate as like be a real estate agent and have a full time job. I'm IT systems administrator, and then things changed, and I was able to step away from my job in last April. So I've been a full time agent since then. Um, and I got into doing these videos because I like looking at what I jokingly call crack houses, um, because it's interesting to see what's been done and then what you can do to fix them. Because I've fixed a few of them. Um, and one of these days I'll do a video of the the flip I did. Um, the, uh, all right, so let's see back to the pictures. I wish the pictures were a little bit bigger. Um, this is actually pretty nicely done. Looks like the ceiling maybe a little bit on the low side, but I mean, if you like wood, you've got two different. Um, you have the older narrow boards here and the newer, I guess that's boards there. I don't know about the open cabinets personally. I like having doors on my cabinets, but this looks like it was nicely done. Not like that one place in I think it was Buffalo where they used fence pickets to cover the walls and floors. That was weird. If you haven't seen that one, go check that one out. Um, yeah, I don't talk about it too much. I pretty much focus on the houses, and I talk a little bit about being a realtor. Um, I I've renovated a few houses. I have one. Well, I call it a duplex. It's a converted. Somebody at some point somebody converted an old farmhouse. So the upstairs is a one bedroom, one bath. And when I bought it, the downstairs was a one bedroom, one bath with a really big living room, like a third of the downstairs with the living room. So I turned um, a little bit more than a third of the downstairs living room into a second bedroom and moved the door to the existing bedroom. And it has a Jack and Jill bathroom, so you can access it from the bedroom or you can access it from the kitchen. Renovated the kitchen and pretty much the whole downstairs. Did a partial reno on the upstairs. Um, and then um, I've got two other houses that then the next year I renovated. Um, and one was in kind of shape, and one was just a disaster. I mean, it had five levels. I cannot speak. Five level layers of shingles on it. Um, and the support in the back around the bathroom was falling in, and I had to personally removed a big chunk of the floor because I was waiting on the roof and all that kind of stuff. But the short version is I turned it into a decent rental, and the same thing with the other house, which was right next door. And then in 24, I bought a house, um, which is the one I keep talking about doing a video on, and started renovating it. And the appraisal came back for how much it would be worth after repair based on what I was going to do. And I'm like, oh, I can actually afford to flip this and not just turn it into rental. And then things happened, and the city happened, and I spent more money than I planned on, and so I still have that one. kind of on the fence about keeping it or um, trying to sell it. I had tried to sell it, but it was winter, and that's not a good time to sell anything for real estate wise. Um, so yes, I've done one flip. I've done a number of renos. I've got a few rentals. Hope that answers your question there, PBR. And if you'd rather be called something else, that's fine. That's probably easy. That's what I went with. I'm gonna see. Um, let's see. Steven says, "Hi Jen, except for a few Rust Belt towns, most of Michigan so expensive." Um, I don't know necessarily why. Um, Springfield and the Southwest Missouri is as inexpensive as it is compared to some other places. Um, but it is. Um, I mean, I guess it probably has to do with the fact that um, like Springfield just a couple years ago, the metropolitan area um, hit the 500,000 people mark, um, and so that probably had something to do with it. Uh, and we just don't have as big of a draw as some other places do, like St. Louis or Kansas City. Um, so Springfield is the third most populous city in Missouri, which isn't really saying a whole lot because there's only three major cities. Well, people talk about Jeff City and Columbia, but really, if Jeff City wasn't the capital, it really wouldn't be that big. I mean, it'd be a bigger than average city for Missouri, but it and Columbia, which is not that far away, aren't that big. I could look up the population statistics, but they're not as big as people would think. Let's see. Shamek says my grandma had just one open cabinet, but she had a curtain for it. She could flip up and down. She kept her huge pressure cooker in there. I remember seeing that. That was pretty common having a couple of cabinets open. I mean, that's fine too. I mean, I just don't like it just open. You know, have a little curtain across there. Um, I'm also kind of on the like the ones that have like glass fronts. I don't know. They can be done nicely, but I don't know. Just my personal preference. I'm trying to think. I know we've got enough Spanish speaking people that it's you'll run into them in the store, like you go to the grocery store or whatever, you'll see them. Um, I mean, it's probably more um, like more guys that are up here working. I don't know if they're legal or not. I'm sure some of them aren't. But I think well, here, let me go quick. Oh, and I was gonna just you know shamelessly show Bear. That's the that was Bear. I had this picture. I was looking at this picture earlier, and I thought, oh, I'm just gonna put that in there so everybody can see Bear. Let's see. Let's look at Film Mo. Uh, let's see. According to Gemini, We've got 170,000 people. Medium age of 34, which is pretty decent. I mean, it's younger, but we're a city, so that's probably something to do with it. Yeah, we're 83 to 85% white. Um, let's see. It probably says here. Yeah, it's about 5.5%. Um, oh. Well, we actually, we do have. I mean, you don't really see it necessarily here, but we do have quite a bit of diversity because if we didn't, we wouldn't have so many interesting restaurants from different places. We've got that Lebanese place. There's Cafe Cusco, which is I know what it's called, but and my brain it'll pop up eventually. It's South American. It's um yeah, anyway. Um and obviously there's Italian, lots of Chinese restaurants, lots of Mexican restaurants of different types, but I think we still have a Dutch place. Um, oh, there's some other ones I remember. I think for a little while there we had a Cuban place. Let's see. Oh, and Chamix is actually a local around here. Says Springfield has always been a little different for a lot of reasons. People move in and out, college and retirement. Some people leave for the winter, but now there's not much winter. Well, I don't know. It's been kind of cold this winter, this last one. Let's see. Um, it's kind of a little bit of both. I mean, a lot of it depends on what's on the market, as far as the houses that I pick. Um, Usually what I do, is that I'll look at houses. I started off just looking at houses under 100,000 because that's kind of what I was going to be looking at anyway. So that's what I kind of tried to focus on. Um, and then I got to the point where I kind of was running out of those, so I moved up to the 100, my 100 200,000, and that's where you guys have seen more houses that are done versus needing work. Um, oh yeah, there's a lot of potential income producing properties here. You can actually like 2-1, maybe a 3-1, um, especially if you get it off market, which I do get. I know a number of wholesalers and different people, so I do end up getting off market um, deals uh, sent to me. Um, Kind of annoying because right now I'm focusing on um, you know, building my business as a real estate agent and getting my name out there more. Um, and so I'll see, houses, and I'm like, man, if I was if I was gonna, you know, renovate another house or flip another house, that would be a really good one. But I just don't have, I need to focus on what, you know, being a real estate agent and get that going. Um, and then I spend some time on the YouTube channel because you gotta keep up with it, filming and stuff. But anyway, so most of the time it's look to see what's available that's vacant because it has to be vacant, and I have to be able to get in there. Sometimes for whatever reason, I can't just go and get in there, or I can't just contact the listing agent and get the code to get in there or whatever. But if I can get access to it and it's vacant, um, then I look at the pictures and I try to find houses that from the pictures they either look interesting or it looks like maybe the whole story isn't there in the pictures. There's 6 pictures or 10 pictures, and like I feel like you're not seeing the whole house. And a lot of times those are interesting because there can be a surprise basement or a surprise attic or whatever. Um, and so that's those. The funny thing is, um, recently, uh, I've had other stuff going on and like, oh, I need to, or the weather this last week. I kind of lost a couple days because it was so cold. I'm like, I'm just not dealing with this. Um, and so, um, then when I had a chance, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go do a house. Like, okay, what house is close by, or what house is close by to where I'm going to? Because I go to real estate meetings I think about 5 of them a month. They're in the evening, and I'm like, okay, or another thing I'm doing? Like I ran over to Republic for something else, and I'm like, okay, what's a house in Republic that will work, for my channel? And I saw one, I just went and did it. Um, and there's another one um, that it was just convenient for me to go do that one. Um, and actually, I'm trying to remember the red house. I don't remember if that one was convenient, but there's some that I've done. I was like, oh, that's convenient. I'll just go do that one. And I didn't even look at it other than okay, it's vacant and I can get in there. And I didn't even look at the pictures. There's been a couple of them. I didn't even look at the pictures. I just like I'm gonna go, and then it's really a surprise. I mean, it's a surprise anyway because you look at the pictures and you forget about the pictures. But like I just go in sight unseen, and so the interior can be a real surprise for me. Like, oh wow, was not expecting this. I think the red one was one of those where I'm like it looks cool on the outside. I'm gonna go look at it, and then it was a really cool surprise. Let's see. Uh, that's the funny thing, Stephen. Um, I I've done some houses, but I don't know. So I'm probably gonna go look at some video, some houses tomorrow and the next day. I don't know what houses I'm gonna look at. I was gonna look at one today, and I was over on the east side of town and had a break. I actually had my continuing education classes every 2 years. You have to do those for before you renew your real estate license. And so I was doing those today and yesterday, and I'm like, oh, I've got some time. I make my lunch, so I had time. I'm like, I'm gonna run over here and look at this house. I ran over there, and there was already some people looking at it. I'm like, okay, it could be interesting. I don't know. It had a few pictures, and there was a fire, so that could be a really interesting looking one. It was like a brick outside, I think, but it had like a half an acre lot. I don't know. And maybe I'm gonna try and get over there before somebody buys it. Um, yeah, yeah, PBR. That's the way I feel about it. You can look at some pictures, and you're like, you get kind of an idea, but until you go and look at it, that's why like people talk. I know people who invest in real estate in other states, and like they buy it and it gets renovated and they rent it out. They never actually go there. They have people taking pictures or doing a video tour for them or whatever. And so that works. It's just not my thing. If I'm going to buy something, I want to look at it. Um, but yeah, and I like to think the way I do it, I'm really kind of honing in on like, how does this house flow? How does it fit together? You know, and even in the video, you can't necessarily see um, the differences. Like if there's um, high spots in the floor or low spots or whatever, or there's been a number of them where if you stop and you look at the opening for a doorway, the doorway actually is like it slopes down, um, and uh, from one side to the other, and you can kind of see it on camera, but it's much more noticeable in person. Yeah, Shamex, that pretty much tracks. There's been mentions about how we have a high percentage of renters here, and I know I've been to meetings where I forget the guy's name, but he's like planning and zoning or some city, he's head of something like that. And they're talking about they're trying to do things to get more owners, but because of the type of city we are, it's hard to have, a high percentage of owners because, you know, you've got one of the things is we've got OTC, Drury, MSU or whatever they're calling it now, Evangel. I think there's another small one. Um, oh yeah, I get mail at my house um, asking me if I want to sell. It's ridiculous. Um, but you got all these college students, and then you just I think a lot of it is like there's both renting and owning. There's a lot of people that would rather either rent or own um, in one of the bedroom communities around here because we got a bunch of them. There's most people know about Nix and Ozark, but then there's also Willard and Republic and Rogersville and Stratford, and there's people even live in Marshfield, which is about 30 minutes away and drive. There's Fairgrove, Bolivar, Buffalo, um, Ash Grove, uh, Halltown is kind of a town. Out past Republic is Billings, and there's Clever, and there's Fordland, and there's more than that, but that's just off the top of my head. That's the ones I can kind of recite. And people would rather live there and drive 20 minutes or 30 minutes into town for work or whatever, um, whether they're renting or owning. Um, let's see if make sure I got everybody. Uh, Yeah, I don't know exactly how many people on my street are renting, but I mean, I last year, a year and a half ago, I went door knocked my street, just trying to get to know people better. Um, and the ones I talked to, I know there's probably out of I fed Bear and Tigger, but not the other two. There's probably at least 5 or 6 people just on this section of my street um, that rent. Next door used to be a rental, and then they ended up selling it. Uh, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Um, let's see. Oh, one of 2 owners. Okay. Um, so if it's if it's like what we call North Side House or around downtown, like Center City, um, most of those you just go with LVP because it's cheap and it holds up fairly well because you're probably gonna, for a rental or even for a flip. Um, if it has actual hardwood or it has um, existing, like actually this here is a good example. The thin boards um, are. No. She was trying to let Tigger in here, and he took his treat and ran off. Um, these little thin boards are they're not actual um, hardwood flooring. They're a subfloor. Actually found this out from a contractor. Um, used on the older houses, they had one or sometimes two um, sets of this wood flooring that went perpendicular to each other for your subfloor. And then if you had hardwood, it was on top of that, but it was a bit wider. Um, anyway, that was an interesting thing I learned not that long ago. But what a lot of people did is they sanded and finished the subfloor and turned it into, so a lot of people think it's hardwood floor, which this is actually softer wood than your hardwood floor is. That's what I learned. So I guess Tiki, to your question, I mostly end up using LVP um, because the houses just don't rate engineered hardwood or real hardwood flooring unless there's actual hardwood already there that can be resurfaced or whatever. Um, but for the most part, it's just LVP because it's inexpensive, it's cheap to get installed, and it doesn't take very long, and you're just trying to get it renovated so you can rent it out or sell it. But I like the hardwood. It's nice, but it's just like everything else. It's expensive. Let's see. Did I miss something there, Steven? Um, I mean, it was your comment about not knowing what's next. I mean, like I said, I don't. A lot of times I don't know what's next. I mean, I know which one I decide to edit and put up, but here's still my forehead. But I don't necessarily know which one's the next one I'm going to do to make a video on. Um, yeah, yeah, Shamix. There's both crappy landlords and just as many, if not more, crappy tenants. Oh yeah, I guess I should. I've been talking a lot instead of moving along here. Yeah, I think if you had a rug and a table and chairs and stuff in there, it would look better. There's another. Okay, so they did have doors on there. Maybe they just don't have the doors currently on there. I'm just answering questions because usually you guys just kind of listen to me talk about whatever we're looking at. Eh, it's fine. I mean, pretty sure that's that vinyl, sheet vinyl. I mean, it could be, but just given the house, I'd say it's probably sheet vinyl. Um, I guess that's a different room. I think that's a different room. I don't know. It does look like cedar plank for the walls. It's different. I guess, okay, there's two bathrooms. So is that like original? So is that like what was up there before and then they pulled the, I don't know, questions. I'm hoping I can get down to Joplin and at least look at some of these because some of them I'm just like, what is going on there? All right. I mean, if anybody wants to look at someplace else, that's fine too. Um, I just figured there were still some interesting looking properties in Joplin. I think we looked at that one. Yeah, that was that one. And then I don't remember if we looked at this one or not. Maybe. It says my uh, connection is poor, but it still seems to be updating pretty quickly. Let's see. Oh yeah, we looked at that one, and I'm pretty sure we looked at that one. This one. Yeah, we looked at that one. Sergeant, remember that? East Ninth. No, this is 4 hours ago. I think that means this one's new. I must have missed the bathroom sink. Let's look at this one real quick. Decent looking little house. You get your tile ceiling. A long living room there. I'm pretty sure those are painted. I really wish they wouldn't paint those. It's just like, why? Just pull them off of there, then paint. Mm, I don't know that there are. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not super common around here that I know of, but I mean, there's ones and older ones, but usually those have been pulled out. I mean, are you talking about um, like you mean from like the smoke, or are you talking about just like a safety thing? Because if it's smoke, I don't think there would be any regulations against having a wood burning stove or a coal burning stove. Although I don't, coal is not exactly common heat source around here. Okay, I think that's probably a teenager's room. I can't tell, but I'm gonna guess that's anime, like Japanese anime there. Maybe not. Munchkin Quest. Yeah, that's probably anime. So we've got Munchkin Quest up there. That's probably anime down there. Let's see. This place doesn't look too bad. They want 87,000 for it. That vanity's seen better days. I'm kind of wondering like what's behind the curtain. Yeah, well, we kind of specialize in weird layouts around here. But that's what happens when, 100 years ago somebody built a house, and then 70 years ago somebody added to the house, and then 50 years ago somebody added some more to the house. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Oh, look, it's part of a couch. Like, where's the rest of the couch? The door looks a little beat up. Oh, yeah, yeah. It's true, Shamix. Don't think of it. I think a lot of the little two bedrooms, at least one, if not both bedrooms, are off of the living room. It's very common. Some of them are off the kitchen, but it's not like there's there's no hallway or anything. No, there's a garage. Just kind of stuck on there. Interesting. I mean, it's not a bad house. Not a great house, but not a bad house. It's two bedroom, one bath, 984 square feet. Abundant natural light. It's only 5 hours on Zillow. Somebody just put it on there. Yeah, see this Ozark Gateway AOR. I don't have access to that one. That's not. They're not a member of our um, Realtor uh, association group. Go back and look at that. Yeah, we got Gable in the front. Hmm. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you build a house and then add on to it. Sometimes twice. Yeah, so they added this here on in the back. And so they just did that. And probably so they didn't have to bring it all the way out and do it properly. They just boop. And then I think looks like there's a little flat roof just peeking out underneath there. Oh yeah, these all are old enough to have survived the tornado. I don't know. I mean, I like probably blues and grays. Um, but I don't know. I'd probably have a more definitive idea if I, renovated 100 houses or 50 houses or something. But but paint I got for this last one was Sherwin-Williams. Yeah, well, it's not a bad little town. It's obviously quite a bit smaller than Springfield, but yeah, you got a little exposed plumbing there. Yeah, I'm still wondering what's behind there. Isn't there? I could have sworn there was, or maybe there was a different that had a second bathroom. Huh, I guess there was. Yeah, it does kind of look like a guy lived here, or a couple guys. It could have been sharing the rent or whatever. Yeah, Tom, I looked back through and I didn't. I was kind of looking. I didn't see any stairs or even any access. So I don't know. I mean, it's possible that there's a window there, but there's not really any access up there. Um, let's see. Yeah, PBR um, the single bathroom, especially with like the two bedrooms or even a lot of one or three bedrooms, or single bathroom is pretty common. Let's see. So Tiki, I don't personally have nightmare contractor stories. I mean, I have contractors that did kind of meh work, like the eh, it's mostly functional, but it's not, it wasn't great. But then again, I didn't pay him very much, and so then you had to fix it later or whatever. But I know I've talked to a lot of people that um, like newer people, and that's why one of the things I always try to when I'm talking to somebody who's like, "Oh, I'm new to the real estate investing or whatever," and they haven't done a renovation yet. I always like, um, you know, when you get a contractor, don't just give them all the money because I know of too many people who've been out 5,000, 10,000, you know, $20,000 or more because um, they just trusted that the contractor was going to do their job. And there's a lot of, I mean, one of the biggest problems with contractors is there's a lot of them that have drug problems. There's a good amount of them that don't, but there's a significant percentage of contractors, especially subcontractors, um, that have drug problems. And you don't know that because, they're not high or drunk or whatever when they talk to you initially, or they're functional alcoholics or functional, you know, drug addicts. Um, Trying to think of any ones that I've been told different ones over the years, but I'm just trying to think of what. I mean, there's people that come in and they'll do half the work, or they'll come in and get paid a certain amount of money, and the materials have been purchased, and then they'll just take the materials and run off. Like, what are you going to do with the materials? I mean, I guess you could maybe do somebody else's job, but depending on how specific they are, I don't know. Um, my worst problem with just hiring people is I've hired some different people who have, we'll say, colorful pasts, to do kind of basic, labor or some minor, um, framing type stuff. And even if they do decent work, like they work that day and, um, maybe they work full 8 hours and then you expect them to come back the next day and they just don't. And you have to go track them down and it's a hassle. Let's see. Xenia Street. I didn't know there was a Xenia Street. Um, so have any of you ever gotten into like renovating real estate or anything? I know I have at least a few people that subscribe that and comment that have experience. I didn't know if anybody that's on here right now has ever done any renovations or contracting or anything like that. 2,010 square feet. And if you're bored with Joplin, let me know someplace else you want to go look at. We'll go look at that. Uh, this is 2 bedroom, 1 bath. They're saying 3 bedroom, 1 bath. Full of charm and sits on a generous double lot. Okay. I love the realtor speak. Full of charm. Cozy living room. Bright kitchen. It's tucked away. It's not in North Joplin. It's tucked away in North Joplin. uh, oh, yeah, that's awesome. There's one picture. Was that Shamix? Was that like did your like was that a condition of getting that loan or like um was it like, oh, if you take these classes then you get like your percentage rate gets knocked down, or why did you have to take those uh classes about learning or about owning a house? I mean, it's great you did, but I'm not sure if that's sarcasm or not, Cat Mom. I mean, from the outside, it doesn't look terrible. I've seen worse, but there's not much to look at there. So we're gonna move along. Here, let's go the other direction. Okay, we went too far. Add. One, two. There we go. Probably the most expensive house on the market in Joplin right now. It looks like they plucked it out of Santa Fe or something. So, Shamix, do you like gray, like dark gray like this, or like off-white, white gray, or it's interesting. Yeah, you don't usually see this style in the Midwest period, but somebody spent some money to build this. That's funny. Costanza. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, the gray makes it stand out, but I don't know if I like it or not. I don't think I like it. I think it's interesting that it stands out. I'm just not sure if I like it. It's a lot of pavement for a house. Yeah, Shamex, I think more people should have to take a class to buy a house. But especially if it's their first house. The other gray. I think that's supposed to be white, but I'm not sure. It's a nice garage. Definitely has more character than some houses I've seen. 4,200 square foot. Main house, 4 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 2 half baths. Wow, it's nice. The green's fine. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. Yeah, definitely Spanish style. Mm, they should have used. Wait a second. Back up. That looks more like a professional picture. That doesn't strike me as a professional picture. Kind of weird. I had to insert that in there. So what are you doing with that door? Oh, I'm just hang it on the wall and put some knobs on it. Hmm. Yeah. Anyway, I love the staircase. Yeah, beautiful wooden staircase, all the carving and everything. Yeah, love that. Yeah, mom. I like grayish. Oh, I I remember that, but I don't remember exactly what it looks like. I just remember it was not a pleasing color to me, but um, is it like a light sage? Is that what the green is? I'm trying to think what color it is. Crushed velvet couch. Nice. I had a couch once. I think it was, what was that couch? I still miss that couch. Anyway, that's a whole other rabbit trail. I'm not gonna go. Oh, the Spanish style. Yeah, I would be surprised if there aren't a few around. Actually, I was in Paducah last year and I drove through there a little bit, and they have some really cool looking old houses that I would love to take a tour of. Um, like if you picked like the best looking old big two-story houses in Springfield, like they had those kind, except they had like a whole street with um, the street was like split with these huge trees down the middle. It was really really cool looking. Yeah, yeah, that's probably cover over radiant heat. I mean, it's a nice looking house. I could, I could probably get used to the green, kind of sagey green, I guess. Nice fireplace. It's very nicely done coffee table. It's just weird looking. There's something about it. It almost looks like somebody took old and new and like melded them together in a weird way that makes me not sure if I like it or not. I wouldn't mind having that on my wall. That's cool. I like a really cool world map. Ooh. Yeah, it's a cool house. A lot of neat stuff. Is that a cover for the radiant heat? Yeah, that one's in. I want to say pale sage. It doesn't look minty. It looks more sagey. Wood's got nice grain to it. Color matches nicely. Is that the wood grain or did they paint those beams? Hmm. Oh, you're talking about the blue crushed velvet um, couch or whatever? No, it's not painted. Hmm. It's a interesting looking place. Somebody obviously spent a lot of money. Yeah, these are rough hewn beams. That's why they look that way. Hmm. Double oven is nice. I think they were going for kind of a like medieval castle vibe for the kitchen. I mean, you get this huge old fireplace, the rough hewn beams. Bathroom. Is it like a dark gray or black ball? I wouldn't paint my ceiling black or dark gray like that. Just, I don't know. No. built in probably cost $20,000 or $30,000, or would if you had it done now. I can't tell if there was a fireplace there or what's going on with that. Seems kind of odd. Okay, yeah, we know. Oh, well, that's cool. Okay, so you open the door and there's a hidden door to go upstairs or something. There's upstairs. Not sure. We can go back and look at it here in a second. So, okay, so that's the mustard. Yeah, I'm not a fan of mustard. I'm back to the green. Apparently somebody, although it's a slightly different shade of green, I think. Hmm. I think I like the other green better. I'm not saying I particularly like the other green that much, but I like it better. Another bathroom. Another bedroom. Wonder if they just stuck with the colors that were there because it's like it's going to cost so much money to repaint this trim or whatever. We're just going to live with it. Okay. Not sure where that's at. I'm gonna guess that's in the basement. See all this old paneling. They have a bed. Looks like there's a bedroom and then there's weird bedroom man cave. Kind of weird looking. That is weird. Why would you have that room is definitely weird. There's the cottage house, has one bedroom, one bath, 1,200 square feet. So big one bed, one bath. Okay, so that's what that is. Okay, that's wasn't sure what that was. Oh, that's kind of cool. You've got a big old kitchen and a bar and yeah, it's very nice. Exposed beams and all that. Mm, looks like older appliances. All right. Okay, we get it. It's a nice space. Can we see the other part of the space? Really? Okay. Okay, there's a little pantry. Okay, so there's the other part. It's one bedroom. Very big. One bedroom. Ooh, man. It's very nice, stylized, all that stuff. Oh, there's a conservatory. Wadsworth system. Does anybody know what the Wadsworth system is? I have no idea. Nice pool and conservatory. You can grow your veggies in there in the winter. Has propane heat. Somebody did a really good job of putting all these pictures together. Fans in the garage. Okay. Storage in the garage. Okay, so you have a 2-car garage. And separately, you have another 2-car and a 1-car? That newer built, not as fancy. What? How many freaking garages do you have? There's a 2-car, there's another 2-car, there's a 1-car, and then apparently there's a 4-car, but that looks like a 1-car. I guess there's place for 4 cars. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed there wasn't anything in the conservatory either, but yeah. Why didn't you have the pool earlier with the conservatory? That would make more sense. It's a nice pool, saltwater pool, by the way. It's not just a pool; it's a saltwater pool. Pool shed or whatever. It's a nice big old RV. I thought if they're going to build that, they would have built it big enough to park their RV in. A little outbuilding. Fence. We're just going to show you random pictures of the property. Not sure what that is. Another shed. The pool's probably original with the house. Okay, and there's that again. And that. Another look at the house. Yeah, probably does. There's a fountain. Some of this almost feels like an estate, but not quite. Yeah, I think they're just repeating some of these pictures. Yeah, there's a fountain. I see. Let me back. It looks like it's in okay condition. Okay. Fence. Okay, there. I'm gonna guess this is your neighbor right here. And then this, well, this here is yours. It's kind of annoying you have a neighbor like right there. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like the clay tile roof, especially with the hail and stuff we get around here. It's a nice shot of Joplin there. Come on. Gonna have the drone shots. Looks like there's some gas stitch. Maybe that's also included. That's hard to say. I don't know. Maybe that's those people's. Yeah, could have been an outdoor rose garden. Oh yeah, definitely PPR. Um, Trying to find a roofing company that can do um clay tile roof. Well, given the way it looks, I'm gonna guess that originally it was there and then stuff was kind of sold off around it. I would say, we haven't looked at how old it is, but I would say it's probably earlier, older than a lot of this stuff. These here are obviously newer. I'm not sure about these over here or this one here, but I'd say a lot of that was sold off. Okay, let's flip back over here. We're going to look at the pantry, which, a minute. Yeah. Okay, so we've got dining room, this doorway, just not sure what that is. There's that. Kitchen, 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 kitchen. And then, yeah, was this what you're talking about? It was Tom, I think was. I don't know if that's like a pantry or that's like a corner of the kitchen. Seems kind of odd. Because that's obviously a fridge. Probably got that top. That looks like an expensive. Um, cause it, yeah, because I mean, it had some stuff that matched up, but then, because that's obviously a fridge. I think it's an older fridge, but it looks like maybe a more expensive older fridge. Um, and it matches up because you got the counter. Go back. You have the countertops and the cabinets and the floor, but where is that in relation to everything else? Yeah, I see what you're saying there. And then we had all this stuff. So, really, nobody wants to comment on the weird ceiling in this bedroom or whatever this is. And then I think the aesthetic, the design of this little one bedroom, one bath is kind of cool, but um, yeah, I mean, it's a neat conservatory, but there's like nothing in there. And let's see. Get another look at the pool, which is down here. Yeah, I don't. I would guess it's concrete, but that's what makes sense to me anyway. I don't know. Yeah, that ceiling is weird. All right, well, we've looked at everything. No, it's 4 bedrooms, four-ish baths, 4,200 square feet, built in 1917. Yep, see, I told you. It's probably older than everything around it. And so it was built, there was a plantation or whatever. Um, you may be right, Tom. I don't know the difference between a concrete and a plaster pool. But it was, had all this room around it, and then over the years, land was sold off and land was sold off, and now it's just got all these other houses around it. So it really doesn't. It kind of doesn't work if like all the land around it has been sold off, except for just what little bits left. It's kind of just doesn't work very well. Okay, so this is a house for sale. Let's see. Okay, we're almost at an hour and a half. Um, oh yeah, yeah, you're gonna have lots of maintenance costs. The lattice ceiling is just weird. All right, so I'm gonna make a note because uh, it's been almost an hour and a half, and I probably should wrap this up because I've got things to do. But this has been great. It's been the most interactive uh, one to date. Um, oh, so I think we're gonna start with whatever this is next week, and then go from there. Um, you're welcome, PBR. Thanks for all the questions and everything. And if Tiki's still here, thanks. Thanks, Shamix, for uh, the questions and your interesting commentary. And I don't know if Costanza's still here. Let's see who all else has been chatting with me. Cat Mom, interesting comments as well, and Tom. Uh, I'm sure there's probably somebody else, but I think that's pretty much everybody that commented tonight. All right. Good night, everybody, and thanks for another fun and interesting live stream. And I will see you next Friday. And of course, there will be a new house to check out tomorrow at 5 Central. All right. Have a good weekend.